Start. Okay. So you know how like there's like four P's of marketing. There's price, there's place, there's product, and there's promotion, right? So I think after early days, it was like a learning. Just ওই আপনার প্লেসমেন্ট আই থিঙ্ক ওয়াজ আ বিট অফ ডিউরিং দ্য স্টার্ট স্পেশালি কনসিডারিং যে আপনার বিল্ডিং একটা বার ছিল বাট
Not building, just beside.
Beside, yeah.
But you know, Mehdi, this is one of the common challenges that every startup will have. You're not going to have the right location in the beginning because you can't afford. I remember I paid 50,000 in rent. 50,000 was still affordable at that point of time. And when I looked at good places that had foot traffic, their rent was a lot. 2 lakhs, 1.5 lakhs, 1 lakh. So we couldn't afford that. But you learn from it. You learn from it. That's how it goes. And yeah, because of location, location was teacher was the first challenge. We didn't have good teachers. The second problem was location.
And so product and place both.
Yeah, product and place both. And I realized that very early on that, okay, we need to work on it. And then we started looking for good teachers, but it wasn't working. Teachers were changing again and again. And that's also not a good sign in an education institution. You can't change teachers so many times. But I think we were working with rookie teachers or new teachers. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but they were just not cut out for the job. And this is why we did not have the flow of students that we wanted to have. So that's how 2017 was still okay. 18 and 19 was very bad.
So far, কয় বছর হয়েছে 5 years?
So next year it'll be 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, I was very young when I started this company, so it's also very emotional.
So right now you're 35?
Yeah, I'm 35.
So you were 25 when
24, 25 when I just started. When I was planning, I was 24 when
Pretty
we
early,
launched. Yeah, according to Bangladeshi standards, I think it was very early on, given that I did not take any assistance or any help from my family or relatives. It was just me in terms of finance. We started with 2 students, 2 teachers, and 3 lakhs taka only. And I just told you, right, it was very emotional because I was quite young. And this is where persistence and consistency comes in, perseverance comes in.
Yeah, I think persistence is a very important thing যেটা nowadays founders and students সবার মধ্যে অনেক lack করে.
Yeah, it's a very underrated quality, no?
Yeah,
Why?
I think it's the focus behind the goal, the object, and I think ওই যে motivationটা যে actually
Or do we live in a very digital world? We have
I think
ADHD.
digital is not the issue. For example, আমি যে পড়ালেখা করতেছি কেন করতেছি কিসের জন্য করছি এটার কিন্তু কোনো ক্লিয়ার অ্যান্সার কারো কাছে নাই। I think if I ask 75% or 70% of the students will be like, I don't know, কেন করতেছি জানি না। So I think লাইফে ওই পারপাসটা is very important. I think ওই পারপাসটা নাই বলেই people are lost, and I think তখন we're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Parents বলতেছে সবাই দেখতেছি করতেছে। I think that's a huge factor যে just করতেছি তো করতেছি। Anyways, let's move on from that. I want to ask a few other questions. Let's say, in this 10 years that you've operated FES, actually, I want to hear about some notable times যেখানে আপনার financial crunch অনেক বেশি ছিল, and ওই টাইমটাতে how did you feel?
I think, I mean, when you have financial problems, especially in a new company, in a startup, you feel very down. You feel very, very bad because, probably our revenue was not even, there were times when our revenue was 1 lakh, but then, our expenses were 1 lakh 52 lakhs. So I was charging my credit cards, right? And I was maxing out my credit cards. And then the bank starts calling you every day in the morning. I went through that, in 2018. It was not a lot.
How did that feel like taking the call from the bank and like you?
I felt like a thief.
Yeah.
I felt like a thief, as if I was running away. Also, I think Bangladesh's economy is not supportive to young entrepreneurs. That's a big complaint that I have. Bangladesh supports millionaires and group of companies, not entrepreneurs like us. Okay, so banks will pressurize us to pay that 20,000 or 30,000 taka per month, but they're not pressurizing the big company to pay crores of installment.
Definitely,
right?
like e-reform it too, we've heard a lot of notable figures just taking loans and running away. I mean, is one of the
No, I'm not a political person, so I won't comment on that,
Yeah.
right? I'm more into education, but yeah, these things have happened, and
Were banks supportive, like loans বা এইসব দিক দিয়ে?
I did get a loan in the beginning. It was still easy to get a loan back in 2015, 16. But then I told you how I was heartbroken because we were trying for a loan in 2022, 23, even in recent times, but banks were not supportive at all, and I didn't know why. And we tried a lot, and our trading history is good, trading records are good. People now know us, everyone knows us, and
I think we credibility to build করতে time লাগে, and I think that's
no, we have the credibility. In spite of the credibility, we were not given enough respect. Again, there is a taboo in this industry, right? Oh, he's a teacher, or he's a teacher of a coaching center. And this is
How
why.
does that feel when someone's like, oh, you're a teacher, but it's not like, oh, you're a teacher. It's like, oh, you're a teacher. So how does that
I have a thick skin, so I'm okay with anything when people say, but now people know what we are. We have established a benchmark. But I never felt bad because I know that this profession is a notable profession. And also there's good money in this industry. If you own a school or if you own an after school institution.
যারা ভালো teacher, they also make good money, I think. Yeah?
Yes, in the private after school institution industry, they do make a lot of money, more than any, probably 5 or 6 times more than any full-time job in the corporate industry. People don't know about that, right? It's a full-fledged industry. But I would like to request all the banks and other ancillary services to support us, right? We may fail to pay back an installment, but we are never going to take your money and run away.
Yeah.
I can just buy a ticket right now and I can be in the US tomorrow morning. You know that. But I did not run away. I was there picking up the phone calls and trying to solve the problem in real time.
Did you like mortgage anything
No.
regarding to? So it was just like, when are you giving the money back?
Yes, and I maxed out pretty bad. All my credit cards were maxed out. And
How
then
many credit cards did you have back then?
4 or 5.
So that's like a lot of money you maxed out.
Yeah. So and then I just have now one credit card. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, I think this is a very important financial
Yeah.
lesson, that always have like maximum 2 or 3 credit cards. Like use one for like any instant medical expenses. Like I think people যারা 10টা 5টা নিয়ে বসে থাকে, that's risky.
Because there is a technical aspect to it. Let's say you have a credit card of 1 lakh. Your income should be 10 lakhs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you can pay back.
Yeah,
right?
but এখানে কিন্তু it's like 2x 3x of your salary. That is
Right.
the scary part.
Yeah, that's a scary point because
ওই
once
spending habit টা চলে আসতেছে.
right, and once you're spending, let's say 50,000 taka on a credit card, you have to pay right the next month. Yeah, so if you can't pay out from your salary or from your business or from your profit, then it's a big problem. So I learned in the hard way, but then things became worse. 2020, we were hit with COVID.
Yeah, let's talk about COVID. What was that like? Like the transition from like, I think I remember like my last day in school.
When did COVID happen?
March 14th was my last day in school. I remember, I think it was a Tuesday or Wednesday, and
We closed down our institution on March 22nd or 23rd. That was
Okay.
the last day I went in. And then we shifted to online, right? But I think I take COVID as a blessing in disguise because, tough times make tough men, right?
Yeah.
And then, when I had to teach online, I was clueless. Okay, how do I teach online, right? Do I teach using an iPad or do I use this particular gadget? Which software do I use? If you look at my first online classes, they were so bad. It was,
I think every teacher struggled with it, but I think since apne বাইরে পড়াশোনা করছেন, and I think
it was still easier for me.
Yeah, but I think there were teachers যাদের ক্লাসরুমে ঢুকে স্টুডেন্টসরা পুরো জুম মিটিং এর কন্ট্রোল নিয়ে যাতা করছে. So
Really?
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen to me, but whatever I do it in a proper way.
Yeah.
So it took a bit of time, probably 3 months. But then I also did courses online, how to teach online. And I think then it was okay. Started using, StreamYard and OBS and, putting backgrounds.
OBS Studio, yeah.
Then I
Those
also
really
got-
help. But I think majority teachers are not that tech savvy. তো এখানে